This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Thursday, September 26, 2024. I'm Mark Mazurek. DePaul University on Wednesday officially launched the Creative School, which was first announced 2 years ago as part of the university's Bold and Gold strategic plan. Marcus Hayes, who was named the school's inaugural dean last year, said the school aims to multiply the possibilities of creativity.
We're not just teaching art and design, although that's certainly an important part of it. We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The Creative School covers a variety of artistic disciplines, including theater, music, writing, film, art, and dance. A development fund in Fort Wayne is receiving $50 million worth of federal tax credits, Mayor Sharon Tucker announced this week. The money is part of the U.S. Treasury Department's New Markets Tax Credit Program, which awards $5 billion nationally to funds that promote economic progress in distressed communities. The money is going to the City of Fort Wayne's New Markets Revitalization Fund. The fund will allocate the tax credits over the next 18 months. The city says a total of 196 community funds applied for federal funding, and only 104 received tax credits. Fort Wayne's New Markets Fund has received over $100 million in tax credits in its nearly 15 years of existence. The fund has supported numerous projects, including the Landing and Electric Works, the Plassman Athletic Center at the Turnstone, the YWCA Hefner Center, and others. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, our Engage Indiana events take place in every region of the state. Discover when we'll be in your area at ibj.com/engage.
Republican candidate for governor Mike Braun released a six-prong health care plan on Thursday, and many of the points expand upon previous General Assembly proposals. The 6 pillars of the plan are quality, cost, transparency, access, wellness, and competition. As with his prior proposals, Braun's plan is supported by research from the conservative Hoosiers for Opportunity, Prosperity, and Enterprise, or HOPE, a nonprofit arm of the campaign based in Terre Haute. The plan didn't include any fiscal analysis, and it will need to get buy-in from the same lawmakers who failed to pass similar proposals. The policy paper emphasizes curbing healthcare prices and notes that studies rank Indiana hospitals as having the 8th highest prices in the nation. Braun would also push for more data sharing during insurance negotiations, as well as allowing employers to review their claims and counter data. Insurers have resisted sharing this information, saying it is a, quote, trade secret. The document also suggests increasing regulations for pharmacy benefit managers who negotiate drug prices between manufacturers, insurance, and distributors like pharmacies. Many of Braun's healthcare proposals have hit roadblocks in the State House in previous sessions. In his campaign, Braun has repeatedly highlighted his own experience as the owner of Southern Indiana's Meyer Distributing and his work on the federal level. An arbitration board has ruled that U.S. Steel may proceed with its proposed acquisition by Nippon Steel, a deal that faces strong opposition from its workforce. The arbitration board was jointly chosen by U.S. Steel and the United Steelworkers to decide disputes between them. The board said Wednesday that U.S. Steel has satisfied each of the conditions of the successorship clause of its basic labor agreement with the union. It determined that no further action under the agreement was necessary in order to proceed with the closing of the proposed transaction with Nippon Steel. The Steelworkers Union had filed a series of grievances in January, alleging that the successorship clause had not been satisfied. The union has previously stated that it doesn't believe Nippon fully understands its commitment to steelworkers, retirees, and its communities. But the arbitration board said Wednesday that it recognized the repeated written commitments Nippon made to fulfill the requirements of the successorship clause and that no further actions were required by the company. The written commitments include Nippon's pledge to invest at least $1.4 billion in USW-represented facilities, not to conduct layoffs or plant closings during the term of the basic labor agreement, and to protect the best interests of U.S. Steel in trade matters. Electronic music maker Endress and Hauser is celebrating 50 years in Indiana. General Manager Todd Lucy is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.